Before we descend into the strange battlefields of Konflikt 47, we look back at the real warriors whose legacy shaped this force, the 5th Panzer Division. Formed in 1938, forged in the fires of early Blitzkrieg, this division carved its name into the history of armored warfare. Its crews rolled across Europe with a reputation for precision, speed, and an unshakable calm under pressure. From the sweeping advances through France to the brutal, grinding war in the East, the 5th Panzer Division became known not just for its machines, but for the men who commanded them, tankers, scouts, and infantry who learned to fight in every terrain imaginable. Frozen roads, deep mud, shattered cities. The division adapted, survived, and pushed forward. They were a formation built on mobility and coordination, striking fast, striking hard, and slipping away before the enemy could react. But as the war dragged on, the division faced a relentless race against time, new threats, new weapons, and a battlefield evolving faster than any army could keep up. This is the legacy they carried, a legacy of steel, endurance, and innovation. It's now 1947, and the war continues to rage on. The Green Volt has consolidated power, and the Axis now surge outward, no longer holding the line, but striking back with new technology and renewed determination. The 5th Panzer Division rolls eastward to meet the Soviets once again, now as the 5th Panzer Division Verstärkt. Hey, Dad from Dice After Dark here, and it's 11 p.m. The kids are asleep, and it's time to do another Theoryless Thursday. So, let's take a look at what we have in store tonight, guys. We're going to look at the 5th Panzer Division Verstärkt. Now, this is a modularly historical take on what I think the division might look like in 1947 as Germany starts to push back outward from where they were at. You might have noticed as you went through, there was a couple divisional symbols in there on the intro, and if you look at the Axis logo I have up there, you'll notice that the divisional symbol is put right there in the middle. I thought that looked kind of nice. But all right, let's dig into this list. So we're going to start with our assault platoon. That's 612 points of a 1,200 or a 1,500 point list. So we're not quite to half, but we're kind of getting there pretty close. Starting off, we have our 251-10. That is a half track with a Pack 36 on it. So that's going to give you a little mobile pen. You'll also notice that it's inexperienced. That's just to save points. So we have that light AT gun on there. And it is a command vehicle. Now, you don't have to give it command vehicle because it actually comes with it. And you'll see later that this gives us a couple options that we can do with it on deployment, as well as what we can kind of push around the table with it. So there's our Hanamag. That's also inexperienced, just to save points. And we just have the one MMG on there. I did not put the back MMG on either of those vehicles. That's a waste of points. Don't do that. All right, here's our first squad of boys. Now, this is a full 6-man squad of Stahltruppen, all running the STG-44Z. These guys have also been upgraded with Fanatics and the AT grenades. This is going to be our assault squad. We're going to get these guys in there, and we're going to get close, and we're going to do damage, and we're going to sling a lot of lead downstream once we're close enough. All right, there's our platoon commander. He is obviously veteran, just as the Stahltruppen always are. And he is going to be also running the STG-44Z. We expect him to get in close as well, as you will see here later. He has also been upgraded, though, with Guts. So we have a point of Guts on him. And then using our Rift Mastery from the Axis Nation abilities, we were going to give him that extra die. So we'll mess around with that later when you see some possible tactics. And then the last set of group of boys here that we're going to put into the 25110. So the assault Stalltruppen, that full 6-man squad, because they are large, will count as 2 each. So they'll take up the entire capacity of the Hanomag there. But we can fit 8 into the 25110, which gives us 3 boys with LMGs. And then we'll put the platoon commander in with those guys. Moving on for some more of the assault platoon here. We have, that's right, 6 rifle boys. And they're inexperienced because I wanted to save points. These guys, they're just going to be to help really hold objectives. They got that 24-inch range though, so you can kind of plink some stuff at a few guys across the board or across the way from you there. But mostly these guys are here to just hold objectives, and when 1 is good, 2 is better. So we'll have 2 of those. And as you can see there, when it popped up, I did give them stubborn. I know they're inexperienced, but the stubborn just kind of maybe will help them just survive a little longer. We'll see what happens. That's why this is a theory, is we're throwing stuff out there that we haven't tried yet, and we'll see how it goes when we do try it. All right, so moving into the armored platoon. This is my favorite. I love tanks. We have the Panzer IV Ops X. This is my only veteran vehicle in the list, and that is because with that Schwerfield projector, I want to get that bad boy the Schwerfield Mastery so I can start with that surging die. So he is going to be the command vehicle for our platoon, and we're going to give him that Schwerfield Mastery. I like him as the command vehicle over the other 2 options you're going to see here, because he is going to more so kind of be almost a backfield-ish role, per se, just because he's got that Schwerfield that we can kind of reach out and touch a few things with. We're going to use him not as much in like a forward assault role as I think the other 2 might well be. That mixed with the fact that he's a Panzer IV chassis means he's on a 9+. So I'd rather see the other 2 tanks take hits first versus him. So, speaking of the other tanks, our second tank is a Tiger 1. This is probably my absolute favorite tank from World War II. No surprises. We're going to run him as regular, and he is situated with that super heavy AT gun and 3 MMGs. So he has the upgraded Pental mount MMG on him, which gives him flak as well. And then our last tank, I know I'm running it inexperienced, but I had to fit everything in this list, is a Panther. So we're going to gain another super heavy AT gun and 2 more MMGs. Now the important thing to remember, yes, he's inexperienced. I know it's not fantastic for when certain situations, but we did get 3 tanks in this list, which I think, considering it's a Panzer division, is kind of important. The other thing is, with the Panther getting that extra frontal armor, we're gaining the ability to push forward with both the Panther and the Tiger, get those faces forward at that 10+, and kind of just, freak people out, dissuade them, whatever. And then the Panzer IV on legs can kind of march up and behind both of these guys. And with being a command vehicle, he could snap to one of them to help move forward if he needed to. So here's a look at what the total list looks like. It doesn't feel like a lot on the table versus some of the other lists, but that's okay. It's 10 order dice, 5 rift dice. We're going to have a rift on each of the Stalltruppen squads. We have a rift on the platoon commander. We have a rift on the Panzer IV legs. And then we're going to put that extra rift die on the platoon commander and we'll talk about that with tactics and stuff here in a minute. But I think this seems like a fun list to me. Like I said, it's based off of historical. I did a bunch of research working on this list and a actual historical bolt action list at the same time. That'll be on another list theory Thursday. But I kind of did them at the same time, so I'm kind of excited about this list, and I have some ideas for tactics, so let's talk about those next. All right, so here's our pretend board. It's not great, but it'll get the point across. So first, let's deploy our 251-10. Awesome. So we have him down on the table. Now we're going to pretend that we've fully deployed already. I didn't put anything reserves for this demonstration, but we're going to pretend that all this is deployed already. I'm just bringing them up one at a time so it's easier to see and explain some of the possible tactics and ideas that kind of got going on here. So we have our 251-10 command vehicle, and we have our Hanomag. So this is kind of our Stalltroopen package right here, right? We have the LMG Stalltroopen in the 251-10, and we have our Assault Stalltroopen in the Hanomag. With our platoon commander. So we can utilize the command on the 251-10 with a snap to, bang, and we can move both of these guys up together. Once these guys are up together, we can use another activation to dump out our platoon commander, and he can snap to, wata! And now we have the ability to dump out all of the Stalltroopen right where we want them in just 2 activations. This is going to let us unload a lot of firepower in one spot on just 2 activations. So that's kind of the theory behind how that's set up. And the other idea is that giving the platoon commander Rift Mastery, and then he already has one, we can do some combinations and maybe either, if we had already taken fire, shed those pen markers on these guys using the Rift die, or we can combine the two, give them a surging, and then give this assault squad the +1 pen in close quarters, so we can be more effective going into that. Now the idea on the LMG guys is to not get them as close, kind of use them as a 3-man LMG support squad, and then get the STG boys close in there for the close fire and the assaults and close combat. All right, so now we have our Panzer IV on legs. He is a command vehicle, and he is going to be sitting next to that Panther, so he can also snap to, wata! And now we're going to be able to move both of those guys on a single activation and get them start taking over board areas, get them up in zones and lanes of fire. Just like that. Next we got our Tiger. Now the Tiger is kind of cool. The way I set him up right now is that he's situated in not a great spot because he could get shot first activation. But other than that, we're kind of relying on that 10 plus for him not to get shot, and hopefully some other terrain in here that kind of blocks the way. But other than that, he also has the ability when we move him to kind of go wherever he's needed. We could cut him up north there and get him on that road, or we could cut him straight down the midboard to help out with the Stalltroopen, or he could cut over and reinforce the Panther and the Panzer. He's kind of just this kind of a support role. And I know that I said the Panzer is going to be more the support role and these two guys are going to move forward. But in this deployment, the Panzer is kind of moving into a position where he's got cover from the deployment zone behind that L-shaped terrain feature there. But with that Schwerfield projector, he's really in a good position to help control the midboard and help control kind of diagonally north there and allow the Stalltroopen to move up. In past games, I've used that Schwerfield projector to just eliminate infantry squads completely off the board, especially those trying to hold like a center objective, and just really clear up space to allow him to do, allow other troops to move in and help take care of an area there. So that's kind of why I like having him kind of be able to do crossfire, and then we can use the Tiger to kind of move into another cross. So maybe somebody's trying to, come in and get a lane on the Panzer, and then maybe, the Panther or the Tiger might be able to have, a cross lane on them. So it kind of opens you up to help kind of protect each other as well. And then, all right, our guts on our platoon commander. So with the guts there, depending on where everybody ends up, that will allow us to either put a dice back in the bag, and this is almost what I would call like a blitzkrieg tactic setup, where you're just dumping and trying to do as much damage as you can to the enemy in the first turn. You dump something back in the bag. You could either have a tank up by him if you really need to try and get another shot off of with the tank, or you can maybe dump the dice for the assault stall troop in there with the STGs back in the bag. It just kind of gives you those options, as well as with him having that ability to snap too. If you really, really need to keep him around and change that die roll on something that's shooting at him, you could do that too. But usually in an instance where I only have one gut, I like to use it early, and I like to use it to really do a double punch and try to just eliminate some stuff off the board, especially if I'm going into a much higher order dice list, like say something that has 15, 16. I really want to try and eliminate as many of those activations as I can to kind of even it out early, because the ability for them to activate more than you, and oftentimes multiple times sooner than you, really makes a big difference. All right, and then we have our Volksgrenadiers up there, just kind of chilling behind that terrain there. They're just going to be kind of a backfield, kind of try and take objectives and things like that, kind of be the rats in the rubble that you don't really see. You're going to kind of keep them around. There's our second squad. They're going to be able to kind of move up around behind this cover maybe, or move up to an objective and things like that. They're really there to just try and hold objectives on those objective-based rounds. And if you get into something for whatever reason, a straight kill game, they're not taking up too many points. They can still, maybe if you're lucky, get some shots off on some lesser units from the enemy, and it also just gives you 2 order dice that you can use in the bag. It never hurts to have more order dice in the bag. So that's kind of some general possible tactics I see with this list. There's so many different scenarios and things that there's a lot you could say or do, but I really like the 251-10 with the Hanamag combo, especially being able to dump all those stall trooping out. You could swap those LMGs for even more STGs and still get that same combo. It's important to remember, though, that each of those stall trooping count for 2 guys. So on the 251-10, you only have an 8-man transport capacity. So you could fit a 3-man in the platoon commander, and then Hanamag has a 12, so you could fit a full 6-man squad of stall trooping in there. So another option to be thinking about as well is if you want a little more firepower and you still want to keep that 12-man transport capacity, you could dump the Hanamag and you could go for a 251-7C, which is the Pioneers version of the half-track. It does have a 48-inch gun on there that gets like +2 pin at closer range up to a +6. But instead of being 50 points of inexperience, you're looking at around 82 to 85, I believe, at inexperience. So it is going to be a lot more costly of a package. And again, that's why some of these squads are running at inexperience. I'm hoping, we'll see. I'm hoping that it won't be a huge deal to do that, just to fit everything in the list. And I can kind of rely on some of the overlaps and things like that, and having experience where it's mostly needed to kind of make up for just running those inexperienced squads and running inexperienced on that Panther and those 2 transports. But again, this is just a theory list. It hasn't been played yet, so I'm excited to get a couple games in with it. Speaking of games, the first game with this one will be against the United States. I got a game set with a friend here soon. He's playing a list that he's excited about, and then I'll be playing this list to kind of see how things go. So keep an eye out. I'll do a battle report after that game just to let you guys know. Maybe we'll have some more tips, tricks, and adjustments to the theories here to kind of see what we could do with this list. But I'm pretty excited about that. And then a little preview for next time, our next List Theory Thursday. I'm going to be looking at a Russian list. And I'll actually have the creator of that list on here with me to talk about it. I'm not going to give too much away, but I will say it's a 16 order die, all bolt action list designed to go into Konflikt 47 and see how it can do. So that's kind of exciting to see what the thought process will be with that and things like that. So as always, guys, I really appreciate the support. Appreciate you listening. I'm really excited about these theory lists. I love list building. It kind of keeps me involved in stuff when I don't get a lot of time to hobby, just with kids, life, family. You guys know. But if you guys do like these and you want to help keep me caffeinated so I can stay up late and do these around my job, it's always appreciated. There's a link down there. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing some comments on this, seeing what you guys think, and I look forward to playing the game, and I look forward to sharing that with you and sharing more in the future. You guys have a good night.